Welcome back to the channel. Racer X here, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about the Demon 170, specifically my individual spec that I picked for my Demon 170. Those of you guys that follow my channel pretty closely may realize that in a recent live I kind of dropped a bomb on everybody and finally revealed the Mopar that I'm getting. And I've been working on this for many months, ordered this car many months ago, finally decided to let you guys know. And today we're going to talk about exactly the spec I picked, the options, and why I chose those particular options. It is getting ready to absolutely let loose. So I'm actually going to go inside so I don't get soaking wet. If you guys are brand new, don't forget, hit subscribe right over here. And off we go.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Now, many of you guys have been following my channel for a really long time, years in fact. And I started this channel with my Hellcat named Excessive, a Charger Hellcat, 1,000+ horsepower, very reliable, very consistent, very fast. In fact, I believe it's the only Hellcat to ever beat Donkmaster on the track in his black blur car. We got it! And that was the very last race I had in that car. And admittedly, as a lot of people copied that build and kind of went their own way with their Hellcats, started their channels, my Hellcat content really dried up. That's the truth of it. I love the car. There was nothing wrong with it when I sold it. It just, I wasn't quite getting the traction that I was getting at one point with that car and decided to go a different route, which is why you see me in a Mustang now. But I have always said that if I had the opportunity to go back to Mopar, I didn't want to go down just the normal Hellcat route again. Already done the Scat Pack thing. I considered doing an RT, but I really wanted something insane from Mopar as my new flagship car for the channel. And truth be told, I kind of knew what was coming on the Demon 170. I was putting out all sorts of content on the teasers, all that kind of stuff. I actually thought the car was going to be called the Goblin, but I had a little bit of an inside track on exactly what the car was going to be. And I basically had everything 100% with the exception of the name, which I just was not able to get ahead of time. But I was always very excited about the car. I knew that a lot of markup was going to happen on this car. It was going to be just a free-for-all considering what happened with the 2018 Demon and even what we're seeing with these special edition cars they're putting out. People are paying ridiculous amounts of money for these cars. But I did maintain, if I could go for something like that, I mean, that is a bona fide Bad Daddy, last call, very unique Demon. I mean, this thing has basically been completely redesigned from the 2018 Demon. There are a few things carried over, but really not that much. Trans Brake 2.0. I mean, there are a number of things about this car that just spoke to me like, I have to at least try to get this car because I feel like it is tailor-made for me. Being a drag racer, being a Dodge enthusiast, and I'm not just a Dodge enthusiast, but I really love drag racing and the Dodge product. I raced the Scat Pack. I mean, I've raced so many Mopars, and this is the car that I just had to try and get. And when the opportunity presented itself to get one of these cars and get it for the right price, in my mind, sticker price, I had to jump on it because it is the best thing I think I've ever been able to do for this channel. And I'm really looking forward to this car coming out. So let's take a look at the spec that I picked for my Demon I would love to know what you guys think about this. First, let's talk about the color that I selected, because I know everybody's really curious about what color I went with, and it is not the color you would think. Many of you guys know I love red and black, so it really only made sense to select Toured, and I really love the black accents that they offered on the Demon. You had a couple of different options here. You actually had the satin hood package, or you could get the entire satin package where it's going to do not only the hood, but you'll get the roof and the trunk lid as well. And I feel like that is a really good package. Yeah, $3,700 is quite a bit considering you could go ahead this done at a wrap shop for probably less money. But I did kind of want this to be just basically ready to go as soon as I got it. So it made sense for me to get Toured and black, which is probably what everybody expected, but that is not actually the color that I went with. And black was also a color that I considered. Once again, I just decided to go against black. I wanted a really traditional Mopar color. I really do like cinnamon stick offered in the Demon. I love the fact that they have a frostbite. I'm not a big B5 blue guy. I love frostbite and actually almost went with frostbite. And ultimately, it really came down to two colors. Sublime, which I never thought I would choose, but when I looked at it with the black on it, I actually really liked. But ultimately, the color that I ended up choosing was Go Mango. For some weird reason, all of a sudden, I really like orange cars. I'm looking at orange Lambos, and I'm seeing all sorts of different orange cars. And the way that that orange pops, and then you put the black accent on it, I think it looks absolutely fantastic. So yes, you can order your Demon without any accents on it. I went ahead and ordered the full accent package. It's basically $3,700, but the orange with the black, it absolutely looks fantastic. So I love the way that that looks. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go out in left field, pick a color completely different, one nobody really expected me to do, but I think it's going to look just amazing. Now let's talk about the interior spec of this car. And I probably went a different direction than a lot of people thought that I would. After all, this is a $100,000+ car, and you would think I would want the absolute nicest, most decked out interior you can get. But remember, this is a purpose-built drag car, and you want cars to weigh less when you're drag racing, right? So it didn't make a lot of sense to me to put a $10,000 sunroof in the thing. I don't know why anybody would do that on this particular car, but they did offer it, but they made it almost prohibitively expensive. Although I think a lot of people buying this car don't really care too much about money. I certainly do. Also, they have a $6,000 kind of premium package where you get the nicer seats, the Harman Kardon, all that kind of stuff. But then again, you're adding weight to the car. And the truth is, I just don't really need all that. I mean, I'm buying this car for really one particular reason. I want to be the guy to go out and break the stock Demon 170 record if I ever get the chance and get enough seat time in it and all that kind of stuff. I have lots of goals for this particular car, but I had to set this thing up the right way. And also keep in mind that Recaro, being one of my newest sponsors, they're probably going to put together a pretty cool seat package for me for this particular car to match the outside spec of the car. So why spend all the extra money on all the goodies on the inside from Mopar when I can do kind of my own thing with the car? So there's that piece of it as well. Certainly the red belts, they're not super expensive. It's like $400, but the red and orange in my mind, they kind of clash. The trunk dress kit, I could care less about. GPS and nav, don't care. So I kept this thing pretty simple. I only basically spent $2,000 on the inside of this car because, yeah, those seats will come directly out. So it's what I always did in my Mopars. I just went in and took 10 minutes and took the seats out. And then later when I was done, I put the seats back in. What if I want to take somebody for a ride? What if I want to take my daughter in the car? Just whatever else. It gives me that option. So I think that only makes sense. I mean, on the 2018 Demon, yeah, it's $1 for the front seat, $1 for the back seat. I wish that would have been the case. It's $2,000 to put the full interior in, but it is what it is. Now, the wheels for this car presented an interesting conundrum for me because I do want this car to go really fast and possibly break a record at some point. And yeah, you've got a $0 option wheel, which is their aluminum wheel, their standard wheel, or you can go with their carbon fiber and alloy wheel, a really expensive wheel. Matter of fact, $11,500 for the upgraded wheels, but they are lighter. The center section of the wheel is lighter, all of that good stuff. But there were two factors that went into this decision for me that caused me to go with just a regular wheel setup, one of which obviously is cost. $11,500 for wheels is just stupid to me. I don't think you need to spend that much. Yes, I realize they're light. A lot of technology went into making this wheel, all that kind of stuff. And that's the wheel that would probably give me the best chance of beating a record. But the other piece of it was I was told these wheels are not necessarily ready to go. And it may cause a delay in the manufacturing of the car itself or the delivery of the car itself, which I don't want. So yeah, I mean, $11,500 for wheels to me, it just did not make sense. I would rather go with an aftermarket option or just whatever. But yeah, I selected the $0 wheel option, and we'll see what we can do with that. So there really aren't a crazy number of options that you can pick on the Demon. I will say at my particular dealership, I probably have the least expensive Demon of all the other ones that I saw. I believe that dealership actually got 6 cars. And I'm so blessed to be able to work with this particular dealership, and they are taking really good care of me. So everybody's wondering, how much over sticker am I paying for my Demon 170? And the answer is zero. For those of you guys that watch my live, I actually told you that I'm not paying anything over sticker for a Demon 170. I did have the backing of some folks at Dodge, and a lot of people were really interested to see me get this car, and my dealership has been fantastic to deal with. The GM is a wonderful person. They don't believe in gouging the customer, and really none of the people that bought the Demon 170 from this particular dealership were the victim of the crazy gouging schemes like you see at a lot of other dealerships. And so I'm sitting here looking at my exact spec and how much everything was. Of course, the Challenger SRT Hellcat package starts at $66,000. Of course, they have the red eye thing added on here for $14,605. It's only available in an 8-speed auto. All the Demon 170s are all autos. There's no manual, as you would expect. So that's $3,000. And of course, the Demon 170 package is an additional $12,466. So essentially, the base Demon is right around $100,000. Now, when it comes to my particular options, which are not many, as I mentioned, you've got the Go Mango paint, which I selected, which was $400 essentially. You've also got the satin graphics package, the full graphics package, which is what I selected. I just want that car to look right on the outside. $3,695. Yeah, that's pretty expensive. And like I said, I could have done it at a wrap shop, but I wanted this to come from the factory looking this way. There's a reason I did it that way. And the only other option that I selected was the full cloth interior. As I mentioned, it was $2,000, but it just didn't make sense not to get a full interior on the car to me, because we're just going to take the interior out to go race it. So anyway, there's that. And I want to be able to give people rides in this car and have other people enjoy it with me as well, at least when the weather's nice and it's not raining here in Florida. So there's that. Now, the gas guzzler tax initially was $2,100 on this particular car, but I just found out the other day that they raised the gas guzzler tax to like $3,700. So it went up by like, what, $1,600, which increased the price of my vehicle. But everything all said and done out the door is just over $108,000 on my particular spec. Not a ton of bells and whistles on my Demon 170. Like I said, this is a go fast car, and I can't wait to show you guys what it will do. So in my mind, yes, $108,000 is an absolute ton of money, but keep in mind, I am getting pretty much the baddest muscle car ever made. Also the fastest production car in the world. At least that's what Dodge is telling us. Like I said, when I get the car, we're going to find out just how it stacks up against some of these other cars. And of course, that means at the drag strip. 8.9 at 151 miles an hour. I would love to go see if I can duplicate that time or even better it. That's my goal. I have lots of different goals for this particular car and lots of races that I want to set up in this car, and I cannot wait to bring all of this content to you here very soon. Now, I have actually been informed that my car is in D1 status, which essentially means it's got a firm schedule. Of course, I have a VIN number, all of that kind of stuff. It's all been confirmed here. It is set to go into production here very, very soon. So I'm expecting an email from Dodge any day telling me my car is now in production. And I'm expecting a delivery date. It's about a 6-week build process on this particular car. So I would expect to see this car sometime in the mid to late September timeframe. So It's pretty darn cool. You can't imagine how excited I am to get this car in, put 500 miles on it, go ahead and put it on the dyno, and do a whole bunch of fun stuff with it. So anyway, what do you guys think about my Spec Go Mango? I just kind of went out in left field. Like I said, it's a very traditional Mopar color, old school, but I feel like for this particular car, it was just right. So I'd love to hear it in the comments down below, and I'll catch you on the next one. So until then, Racer X.